In the last video of 2020, we are rewinding this year to see if I reached my professional goals. Coming up. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Happy holidays, I hope you get to enjoy some time off as well. I came back to my parents' place for the holidays, that's why I'm in an unusual surrounding and it's a bit more echoey. I hope the audio is okay. So this is gonna be the last video of 2020 that I'm making, and I thought it's only fitting to look back and go through some numbers to see if I reach my goals for this year that I set out for myself. So I'm gonna look at revenue, I'm gonna look at my clients, at my expenses, overall goals that I set for myself, and I thought it might be fun to bring you along to look back on this 2020 from a professional point of view, of course. Now I know that 2020 was quite an unusual year and was very hard, very tough for a lot of people, whether they lost their jobs, whether they got sick or they lost loved ones or something. I'm very aware of that and I feel very sorry for these people. Luckily, for me, it wasn't the case. The year has been quite okay for me. Of course, there was restrictions as for everyone, but professionally it's been great actually. And yeah, I'm very fortunate in that. I know that not everyone was as lucky as me, especially not freelancers. So let's look at the first thing. So I have my laptop here and I prepared a few slides. I'm going to just show them to you on the screen as well. So the first thing that's always the most important metric for me is the revenue, right? My goal is to every year increase the revenue to at least beat inflation, right? That should be the minimum goal. But of course I want to increase it by 5, 6, 7% if possible. And as you can see, this year I managed to increase it by 10.6%, which is really amazing. I didn't expect that in this year. That is essentially like over 1.2, like 1.3 times a monthly salary that I managed to gain more than in the previous year, which is great. I think the previous year was 6% more than 2018 and now it's 10.6. So I'm very happy with this outcome. But of course it's never the ceiling, right? I can always go further and further. My goal is to increase this every year. So the first year I won't be able to do that. I will have to change something significantly because this is how I measure my progression, right? Another important metric when you look at net profit is expenses. When you can raise your revenue and when you can even decrease your expenses, your net profit in between becomes even larger, right? So you can not only make more money by earning more, but also by spending less, obviously. So I'm tracking my expenses every month quite meticulously, and I really encourage you to do the same. At the beginning, it's a bit of a pain, but then you get really used to it and it's actually amazing. Then I can do stuff like this, as you can see. This year I spent 22% less than 2019. Of course, a large portion of this is due to the fact that we have a pandemic and I can't really go out and spend a lot of money. So in general, I spent less over the month, but I didn't expect it to be almost a quarter less. That's really significant. Hence also my net profit and my savings increased more than usual, right? So that's a good tip for you if you're also curious about your finances and you want to take them in your own hand. Just have a little spreadsheet with your monthly expenses that are fixed and the variable ones, and then whenever you spend something, just fill it in quick. I do it on my phone and I really like to do some statistics at the end of the year. Another cool metrics I want to talk to you about is clients. So as you can see, in 2020 I worked with 13 clients overall, 6 of which were core clients. What I call core clients is I got work from them at least more than once a month. So at least 2 times a month I got work from these 6 core clients. Some of them I get every day, like continuously, several jobs a day. So 6 are my core clients that make at least 80% of my revenue, and 13 clients overall, which is good. I haven't done this check with the previous year, but it's probably gonna be about 3 clients more this year. This shouldn't be the goal to raise this as high as possible because there won't be the time. So whenever I find a new client, then just the least paying one or the most hassle to work with is kicked out, So this is kind of a good metric. Maybe 15 clients would be ideal. So I'll look into gaining a few more in the new year. And the last graph I have prepared is from the days off. As you can see, I took 35 days off this year from a total of, I think, 265 working days in Belgium. Yeah, 35 days, it might seem a lot for some people or not enough for the other freelancers. I don't know how you like to manage your time, but bear in mind that this also includes the sick leave, right? So as a freelancer, you don't have paid holiday or paid sick leave when you feel ill. unless it gets too long, like when I really have something bad, I break my leg or I have to go to the hospital for an extended period of time, then my social security would kick in and I would be compensated for the missing time. But if I just get ill for a week or two, it's not paid, it's unpaid holidays essentially. That's why this seems a bit high compared to employees' holidays. But I think at least 5-6 days of this was sick leave. But still, I like to enjoy my time. I'm a freelancer to have freedom. So whenever, like these days, almost maybe 1 week was at a time. Otherwise, it's just days off that I didn't feel like working. I just took a day off. Had an exhausting weekend. I took Monday off, etc. So yeah, thought it might be interesting for you to kind of measure out how many days you can afford to take off. And another thing to mention in terms of working hours, I was really proud this year that I never worked any weekends, at least not like full weekends. There was times when I had just an hour or two of work on a Sunday evening. That's fine. That doesn't bother me, because whether I watch a series or I do something that's gonna help me on Monday, it doesn't factor in any stress for me. But like working full days, Saturday, Sunday, I just can't do anymore. And yeah, this was one of my goals at the beginning of the year, to really schedule my time wisely, and I did that. So I managed to achieve this goal. Speaking of goals, every year before the new year, I put like an umbrella goal over my upcoming year, if that makes sense. So for this year, 2020, the umbrella term was networking, especially in real life networking. You can imagine I did this for 2 months and then the year took a turn for the worse. So there was no way I could achieve all what I had planned under this umbrella term. I wanted to go to so many conferences. I wanted to get involved with charities. I wanted to get involved with teams that organize events for the language industry, etc. Go to workshops, etc. And none of this really worked. In the first 2 months, I got to experience it a bit, and I had an idea of where I wanted to go. So there was a point where I was thinking, can I still achieve this goal? Well, can I just achieve it in a different way, or do I have to completely switch the goal of the year? And I didn't really want to do that, because then I'm already 2 months behind of my overarching goal, right? So I still wanted to have networking as my main goal of this year. And that's when YouTube came to mind, right? That's the first time I had this YouTube idea, because I thought, if I can't do it in real life, I have to do it virtually. And how do I build a community that can support each other? And I joined a lot of community building things, like I'm part of a lot of things now throughout the year. But this YouTube thing is definitely the biggest one. I can show you a bit of analytics if you're interested, maybe. As you can see, this is my YouTube studio. I uploaded 26 videos this year. So this, what you're watching right now, is the 26th video. And we managed to, time of filming, it's at 476 subscribers. Probably when you're watching this, the clip I put in, maybe we've already reached 500, I'm not sure. But like 500 by the end of the year, it's really insane. I really thought 100 would be a stretch, and 500 is so cool. And the amount of messages I'm getting on LinkedIn, on email, and in the comments, it's overwhelming. I really like it. I try to answer all of them very quickly. Sorry if you have to wait a bit more now, but I have a lot of things planned for the new year with this community. Like, there are 2 things I want to do. One is really like community building in the sense of like speaking to each other. A lot of things I haven't planned with that, and really getting to know each other, not only with little messages and comments. And another part is, of course, monetizing, right? Whenever you have a community that's growing, there's an aspect of monetization that comes in. There's so many monetizing options now with communities, so I'm definitely going to look into that. Probably late next year this will be the case. On YouTube you can monetize when you reach 1,000 subscribers, so this has basically come out of nowhere this year, and it's turning into something I really want to pursue and want to build up, so that it's of value for you guys as well as for me as well. And another side aspect of that, it goes into professional life, because it's about finances, that I really enjoyed about this year. I really took my personal finances into my own hands. I can only recommend this to you very strongly, really. But in the first 1, 2, 3 years, maybe, when you are starting the business, then it makes sense to put your net profit back into the business. So net profit is when you have a revenue and you have expenses. So when you paid all your bills, all your social security, your taxes, when you have enough food for the month and there's still something left, if there is something left, that's a net profit. And it makes sense to reinvest this into the business because it's going to propel you further in the future, right? But then after a while, when you're established, this is basically your savings, right? And as a freelancer, you have to be, even if it's a bit of a tedious topic, but pension has to be on your mind from very early on, right? Because we won't be blessed with a pension, realistically. Like, you have to take it into your own hand. This year, I really did a big step towards this goal. I learned so much about investing together with my girlfriend. We learned a lot. We've joined financial clubs in Brussels. I talk with them every week, Tuesday evening on a call, and we discuss different topics about investing. What's the best strategy for long-term investing? Because one of the guys there actually said a very good quote that really stuck with me during the summer. They said something like, if you don't manage to figure out how to make money while you're sleeping, you're gonna work till you die. It's that simple. And yeah, I really took this to heart. So this is gonna be one of my, probably even my overarching goal for the new year. So this is gonna create a stable passive revenue income, and I can really recommend to you, take your personal finances into your own hands. Don't listen to every financial advisor that you meet, because their first goal is to make money from you, right? So always look at the fine print, always look at the charges, and you can do it yourself. Like, DIY investing is not that hard. Yeah, it takes maybe half a year of learning and then you're good to go for the rest of your life. So why not? This has been a huge step for me this year, for sure. There you go. So have my goals been reached? Yes, definitely. I'm really happy with how this year went professionally. I managed to reach my financial goals, or I managed to reach my client goals. I managed to raise my prices as well. By the way, every 2 years in December, I try to raise my prices with every client. And it worked across the board this year. So this already sets myself up for achieving more revenue next year, right? Because that's how you make more money, when you charge more, essentially. Either you find better clients or you charge more at the existing ones. All right, that's all from me for this year. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey. I really enjoy speaking to all of you, and see you next week with probably a bit of a shorter video, because I'm taking a bit of a break from filming, but there's still gonna be a video. I don't want to miss my upload schedule, very important. Have a good last days of the year and a good start in 2021. See you then. Bye bye.